Hello, happy Tuesday. I hope that everyone is getting a great start to their week. This is Wendy Lee. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm excited that you've joined me for some paper crafting today. It's time to play. Yay! I love that. Okay, hopefully I've got everything in the camera. We'll see. I may have to move it up just a bit. I'm going to scooch this ever so slightly forward, maybe. And we'll see how that works. Give us a little bit more room in the camera. Okay, so today we are going to learn how to do a partial die cut front to our card when we do our layers. Hey Susan, so glad you're joining today. So this is a fun little Halloween card that I created. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And we are featuring the hallowsnightmagic stamp set and the coordinating Halloween magic dies. So I'm having a lot of fun playing with this if you hadn't already noticed that. So all right, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way and hopefully you guys can see okay. Oh, Siri has decided to jump in. Hey, Jean, so glad you're here. Hopefully I can see comments and the video doesn't get too disrupted. All right, so I'm going to see if I can slide that right up there in the corner, and maybe I will be able to leave it there. Maybe I will not be able to. So what I've done is I've went ahead and placed my stamp right on the stamparatus so that I can use this for positioning. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my basic black layer. I didn't grab my measurement sheet. So this one is 4 by 5 1/4. And I like to make marks on my grid paper for placement so that I'm not right up against the hinges if I'm going to stamp on that right edge there. I find that on the stamparatus, it just works a little bit better if I do it that way. So, hey Marcia, is it Marcia or Marcia? Ooh, I like that. Sounds so fancy. Okay, so I am going to go ahead. I've got my paper placed in, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up my images with the Versamark ink. I'm using my pretty one today. It's not too terribly stained. And then I'm just going to stamp that in place. And I like to really push down in the center of the images when I use the stamparatus. That way I make sure I get the ink. So you may not be able to see that. But I'm going to pull in my white embossing powder. So I dump mine into a larger container. They come in little small containers, and I don't like to dump them back in. So I just get a very inexpensive plastic container. All right, so I've got my images are covered. I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and we'll go ahead and melt that powder. Now, I have an old heat tool. I've had it for many, many, many years. So it doesn't come like this anymore. It's now really pretty, and the end is covered, so it's not dangerous. Hey, Karen, so glad you're here today. And it's got 2 speeds. So this one's really old, and I've dropped it many, many times, and it still works, and I'm excited that it does. So, it just shows that our products are super good. They last for a long time. Let me move this out of the way while we go ahead and emboss this so you can hopefully see the magic of the powder melting. I'm hoping we can catch this on camera. Now my machine is a little bit loud as well because it's old. The new one's not quite this loud. Ooh, so I hope you guys can see that. So the powder is starting to melt, and you can see how it's turning shiny and white. I love it. Yay! All right, just gonna check that and make sure everything looks good. I think I'm good. Okay, so for my next layer, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the stamparatus back in and use it again. So for the layer I want to go on the front, that I wanna die cut part of it out, I'm going to go ahead and just place this again in my stamparatus. So each of these long dark lines is 1 inch. I want mine a little more than 3/4 of an inch over. So I'm just going to eyeball my placement. It doesn't have to be exact because my stamparatus is going to help me line all this up. And then since I have a mark at the top and bottom of what my layer was, I can kind of center that. Now it would have been easier if I'd have done 1/4 inch size difference, but I don't like to do that. That would make things too easy. So we're going to ink this up again. Now, I tried my first one using black ink and stamping it, and you can do it that way. I found that it was really hard to see when I die cut, so I was off just a bit. So anyway, it is what it is. So I am going to go ahead and heat emboss it. While that's a little excessive, you don't really need to heat emboss it. I'm going to do it just from a visibility standpoint. I think it'll be in, I think it'll just be easier for us to see. Could also change to a white craft ink. That would work as well, but that stays wet, and then you got drying time. So I decided that this is the easiest way for me to do it. So we're going to stamp this one more time. Oh, Marsha, like Marsha Brady. Marsha, yay! Coming from Wisconsin. Ooh, I'm so glad you're joining me today. I love it when we have lots of people on. So much fun. All right, so that is stamped. I'm going to move this out of the way again, and I'm going to bring my white powder back in. I'm going to heat emboss this. You just have to be patient with me because I didn't do this ahead of time. I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. Get that extra powder off there. Close that so that I don't end up spilling it all over the floor, because that tends to happen. I'm a little bit messy sometimes when I craft, and so we'll watch the magic one more time. This one you can see really good. Awesome. Now that went so much quicker, and that's because I had already used the heat tool. So the first time the heat tool was cold, and so it took just a moment longer, but since we had used it once already, it heats up pretty darn quickly. So that works great. All right. So now I want to pull back in my dies, and this die here is the one we're going to use. So it's really nice that Stampin' Up! Attached these images, because now it makes it really easy to line up and die cut them both at once. Now, I do know some people will cut those apart, and that's fine too. You do what makes you happy and how you want to use your tools. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go run this through the die cutting machine, and then I'm going to pass through a second time and add the texture with this Cobwebs 3D folder, which is super, super cool. So I'm going to end up with a piece that looks like this. Now, this will just line up nicely, unless I grab the wrong one. But see, that looks great. Lines up perfectly where I want it to do. So that's just a fun way to go about it. Before I show you this, actually, no, I'll show you at the end. Okay, let's go ahead and build this. So I'm going to start with my Blackberry Bliss card base. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, folding it in half, and then I'm going to run my bone folder for a nice good crease. Oh, good, you like it, Karen? Yay, I'm glad. And then I've got a 1 inch by 5.25. I will make sure I put the measurements in. I'm going to say it's 5 1/8, but I don't remember that 100% since I didn't grab my measurements. Bad me. But I will make sure after the video, like every week, I go back and put the supply list with the cut dimensions so you guys have everything you need to recreate it. All right, so I'm just using my Stampin' Seal, and I am going to adhere this strip, and I left a nice skinny edge there, which I love personally. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this down on my card front, just because I think it'll be easier to manage to do it now before I start popping up all my layers. And I know I'm going to be shocking. I'm going to do it flat. I normally would pop this up as well. Look at the mess I made all over my table. I normally would pop up this layer as well, but I decided I was not going to do that this time. All right, so that is down nice and flat. Now I'm going to go crazy with dimensionals. So now I want to just pop this right on and lift that up, because I really want it to be dramatic that that is die cut. So flipping that over, and you could use the large dimensionals or you could use the minis. I have the minis at my fingertips, so I am using these, and I've grabbed the black ones. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to be a little excessive around these die cut images, because I really want that to stand up. I don't want that to get crushed. So it's going to be more than you're like, Wendy, where are you going with this? Yeah, I'm going to go a little crazy on the dimensional dots here. Might have been easier just to cut this out with foam behind it, the whole thing. That might have been good too. I don't know how well that would have embossed, but shoot, we can try anything, right? I might be cutting a little close getting in there. I might try it though. I might try to put another one in there. We'll see. I can always trim it, right? Yeah, I'm going to put one. I can't resist. I want to put one right there. And it sticks out just a bit. So we'll just trim that off. No one will ever know, right? But I really wanted that to be steady. All right, so now I got to take the backing off of all these crazy dots that I used. Looks like it's got some sort of disease around there. All right. All my fingernails are breaking. I have not been good about keeping nail polish on them, and when I don't do that, they split. So they're in quite a disarray right now. Okay. Yay! Okay, let's see if I can get this lined up. It's a little hard on camera with the angles. And of course, I've got that narrow edge, which I personally love. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Happy with how that turned out. And hopefully I'm staying in camera. I decided to try it without my grid paper since I always knock it all crooked and cattywampus. So I don't know if this is better or not. You guys will have to let me know if you like it better with the grid paper or without having grid paper down. All right, so let's stamp the inside. So I'm going to move this over again. I'm going to bring back in my stamparatus. Now, normally I might take the stamp off the stamparatus, but if I was going to do a whole bunch of these, let's go ahead and clean this with my chamois. Mine's an ugly. This comes light purple when you first get it. So mine is very well loved. I use it. I really only use it when I use the stamparatus because it works so well for that. But I'm still partial to my scrub and mist when I have just regular stamps on a block for whatever reason. I guess everybody has to figure out what's their thing. Maybe this is it. I got a little too much moisture, so now I have water there. Makes me crazy. All right. So I want to stamp the bats again on the inside, and I'm going to do it in black. But I don't want it in this corner. So if I were to place it, I'd end up with that same placement. I don't really want that. So I actually am going to move it down and over because I want it on this side. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. You do what makes you happy. And again, you can take it off the stamparatus at this point and transfer it to a block. And if that's easier for you, then that's what I say you do. So I'm just using the Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp that down. Again, I like to push the center, make sure I get a good image. And of course, if you don't, you just re-ink and stamp it again. One of the beautiful things about the stamparatus. All right, perfect. Let's get this out of the way. We'll clean that up later. And then I've got a layer of the Granny Apple Green. So I believe my Granny Apple Green is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got the narrow here. Well, unless it looks like I didn't cut it right. Look at that. So I've got it wider at the top and bottom and narrower on the sides. So I can either, probably should cut that down a little bit. I'm going to run across the hall here and grab my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut 1/8 off of that. So this card will not have the measurements on the white that I am going to tout in the instructions, but I can't put it down with it off like that. It will make me batty. Ha ha ha. Just kidding. All right, that looks better. At least it's even. Although I still like the narrow layer. See, we'll pull this one back in. I like the narrow layer. Oh, I totally forgot the sentiment on the front. We'll go back and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and just adhere this down since we've got it ready. So we'll put this Granny Apple Green down on the inside. I like the green. It just adds a touch of pop of color that makes it fun. You could do an orange or a yellow might be fun, like a crushed curry, maybe a bumblebee. Or a mango. We've got so many good yellows. And I'm not even really a yellow fan, but we have some good yellows. All right, let's do our sentiment on the front that I totally forgot to do. So I'm going to use the, it is a 4-inch by 3/4 inch piece of Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to bring in this new punch. I totally missed this punch. I think I brought this up maybe last week. Totally missed this in the new mini catalog, but I am loving this punch. So it's got 2 different banner shapes that you can do, and I like to write on the back of my punch so I don't have to remember the measurements, but it does 1/2 inch strip, 3/4 inch strip, and a 1 inch strip very easily. You can do in between, but it's not as easy to do. So I'm just going to slide one end in. Now, if this makes you nervous to punch without looking, you can flip it over and look at it and make sure you're happy with placement. But overall, this punch has been pretty easy for me to use. Of course, last time I said that, then I messed it up, but that's how it works. Okay, bringing back in my Memento ink, and I'm going to ink up. I feel like I might not be in camera here. I'm going to ink up this Happy Halloween. And I punched it first so that I can kind of get it a little bit centered. Who knows if I'm straight? Not bad. I'll take it. And then I'm going to add this banner on the front here. Sorry, I got kind of cattywampus here on the order of putting the card together, but hopefully this makes sense to you guys. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid adhesive on the back. And I'm doing that because of the texture of that embossed layer. Now, if it bothers you that this is going to be hanging in the breeze here, you could always add some dimensionals. We'll go ahead and do that just to give it the stability there on the end. I'll just put a couple of little dimensionals there since that's going to be on a raised area. And then we'll just lay this down where we want it. Now, I'm going to go all the way to the edge of the card. You can do what makes you happy, but I think it gives it a nice look. I could have it aligned to the black layer or even move it over a little bit more, but I kind of like it on the edge that way. All right, let's finish it off with some of these fabulous iridescent gems. Oh, hey, Mary. So glad that you could come in, join us today. I usually catch you. You're usually canning or something, working in your garden. At least I think that's what you're doing. All right, we're just going to pull in some of these awesome pearls. I think they're so cool. Oh, I lost that one. Well, we'll find it later. It'll probably be on my shirt or something. And we'll just stick one right there. Awesome. Oh, I think that's where it is. I dropped it there. Okay, so that's it. Super fast and easy, I think, for what it is. And so you can see the 2 versions that I did, the one today and the one I did the other day. And the inside has the narrower green layer versus the wider green layer. Isn't it amazing how different it can make it look when you have the wider versus the narrower layer? I like the narrow better, but the wider is still very nice. So just 2 different ways to go about it. Okay, the other thing I wanted to tell you before I go today is that today starts the first day of our new Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. So if you do not have a die cutting and embossing machine yet, or if your machine is just plumb worn out like my old Big Shots, you might consider giving this one a go. I'm going to bring it in, and hopefully you can see it. So this is our new, let me move those cards out of the way. This is our new cut and emboss machine. Hopefully you can see it. It's all pretty and white, and when it comes, it's folded up like this, and you have to assemble the handle, just putting the handle on. Super fast and easy. Then these 2 plates fold down for a really nice cutting surface, and it comes with all the standard plates that you need. So you get your platform. So let me move it back out of the way. Oh, it is also a little bit lighter than the Big Shot was, so it's nice to carry, but I like the storage that it's so much smaller. As far as when it's folded up, you can take up a little less space. So it comes with your basic platform, and everything's numbered to tell you what you need to do to build your sandwiches, which I love. Then it comes with platform number 2. I've got all of these upside down. Platform number 2, which you would use for all your thin dies. And so it tells you, use with thin dies. And you've got the platform number 2 and then 2 number 3s. So it comes with 2 number 3s, which are your cutting pads. And as you can see, I've been using mine. I've been using it a lot. So it's all cut up. I try to keep a nicer one on top that I don't cut with the cut one on the bottom. I don't know. Makes me feel better. I don't get as much debris on it, even though these 2 need to be clean, but they're staying nice and flat. I'm happy with that. And again, they're all numbered. And then it also comes with number 4, which is your specialty plate for your 3D embossing folders. So if you have the old blue plate, it's not that old, it just retired with this last catalog. It's the same as the blue plate. So, it works the same way. doing well. Oh, you are still doing Corn Mary, but you stopped for me? Oh, I feel so special. I'm so glad you came. Yay. All right. I hate to keep you from doing your stuff though, but a little time out for paper crafting is always good, right? So anyway, so all these come with the new machine. So you don't have to buy these when you first get the machine. Of course, we sell them individually as well. So if you need some new plates or platform for your current machine, you might be able to use these with it. There are two specialty plates as well. There's a magnetic plate, which will be similar to this one. I haven't actually seen it yet, but my understanding is it is a full surface magnet. So we can order that as of today. So that is on my list of things to order today. And then there's another specialty plate that I believe is more of a rubber mat. And it is going to be used when you want to emboss with your dies so that they don't cut through the paper. So I haven't tried that one in a long time. So I'm not sure if that one's available today or not. I should have checked, but if not, it will be available soon. Yes, Jean, yes, perfect. You said also that the magnetic plate is available today. Yes, very excited about that. So anyway, just wanted to show you the machine in case you hadn't had a chance to see it yet, and it is fabulous. It runs smooth. You almost have to experience it to understand, but not that you wouldn't trust what I'm telling you, right? All right. Well, I hope that you all loved this project today and will give this technique a try. And again, I will update the video description so that you have all the supply lists and the cut dimensions. It'll be this version on the inside to recreate this one on your own. Thanks so much. And I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will catch you next Tuesday. Bye for now.